My room's a mess. Anyway, today, the Good Food and Wine Expo is in Sydney, and we're going to go have a look at that. In Australia, one of the best shows on television is Masterchef. And although Masterchef is now a franchise of shows around the world, the Australian one seems to do brilliantly. So one of the 3 stars of the Masterchef is there today, and my plan is to meet him. His name's Gary Meaghan. And for those that don't know, go have a look at some of the YouTube channels on Masterchef Australia, and you'll see Gary, and he's fantastic. One of Australia's best chefs, I reckon. In fact, there's a whole load of Australia's best chefs who are going to be presenting at today's expo.
It's one of those funny time slots. I've taken over Bondi Vet, so Chris Brown's pissed off with me. So you flicked onto Bondi Vet and go, why is there a chubby middle-aged man cooking in Asia? What's going on? That's me. But particularly when I went to India. You've never been to Asia, have you?
No.
This is a country girl, never been overseas, right?
I know. Oh, I'm a bit younger than you guys. So.
Where did you go? What was that?
There's still a lot of time to get over there. A little bit younger.
That's all right. That's okay. It's funny, isn't it? Because the first time I went overseas, the world's changed. Who hasn't been overseas? A few of you? It's really interesting. Lots of people don't. And where are you from? Your country, New South Wales?
Yeah, from Barraville. It's a tiny little town on the mid-north coast.
You just stay there for a minute. I hate to tell you, but your life is about to change. Oh, if you go to London, you can pick up a £60 flight and go to Venice for the weekend, or go to Portugal. It's amazing. Okay. Sandwich. Do you want do you want a little quiche, or can I make you a little borek or something like that? Because I know that other parents are going, what's Jenna having in her lunchbox? And they'll go Vegemite sandwich. You go, no. And so what I do is I put extra stuff in. I put olives and salami and little homemade things that she can throw in the bin. That's how it works. No, but I think there's this burgeoning interest in food, and I think we know a lot more about food than we ever have. So that's reflected in the contestants that apply for MasterChef. So they've got their bases covered. They know some really good recipes. They know what flavour is about. They've seen lots of ingredients, and the dynamic of the competition's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And for me, I always watched the series. I loved every single series of MasterChef, and Jimmy might be upset that you're saying it's the best season this year, but for me, I learned a lot from the first season and the second season just through watching it. So it's a combination of heightened interest in food, but also watching them do it.
So people have come along for the journey, haven't they?
Exactly.
Have you come along for the journey?
Yeah.
It's all right, isn't it? What, Billy? But
don't think like that. I think most of my learning was done during the process. I went in as a basic home cook. That's the food I love to cook is country home cooking. So it's nothing really insane like that ridiculous Heston dish at the end of it. It's nothing like that, but you learn it all, and it's all an experience. So it's absolutely worthwhile.
So do it.
Do it.
And you know what? I meet a lot of people that say, "Oh, I don't think I'll even feel done." Mm-hmm. Yes.
I bought Gary's book. Yay! I told her to read it on. Make sure you get lots of goodies. Hi, how are you? You alright? Finally meeting Gary. Hey? But it's funny.
Thank you so much. Did you write happy birthday?
Yeah.
So this is Jess.
You're in for a real treat. Give a massive welcome for Mr. Adam the Owl.
Nice to meet you. This is one of my favourite dishes. Let me show you something just through here that I find a bit special.
And frankly, that's not good enough. So it's very difficult, I understand, to break into a new cuisine that you may not have grown up with, you may not have understood or know the basics of, and then to go try and recreate it from, basically you go out eat something in a restaurant, you want to make that at home. it can be tough. So I'm going to show you today, over the course of 3 dishes, some really simple things that to me are kind of the basics of Asian cuisine. We're going to make some Vietnamese rice paper rolls here. Very, very simple, pork and prawn. You probably all had them before. But I'm going to show you kind of 2 things about the rice paper rolls that I think is really important. First, how to roll them, but secondly, how to put the sauce together, because that's hugely vital to making that a good experience. Bitterness and umami. You see those 5, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, they're our seasonings, and that's biological. Those are the 5 things that we taste on our tongues. Our tongues actually taste those things. We don't taste rosemary on our tongue. That's an aroma. That's a flavour that we smell with our nose. We don't taste mint with our tongue. That's an aroma as well. We don't taste pretty much anything with our tongue other than salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. Let's not worry so much about bitter and umami for the time being, because we're going to talk about that over there. But when you think about those things, think about just sweet, sour, salty. How much of the Asian grocery store, you get confused, you go into the Asian grocery store, there's racks of stuff everywhere, there's 1,000 different ingredients to choose from. Almost all of them are going to fall into one of those 3 categories, or at least that plus umami. One last thing before I go, and realistically I'm an hour over time. These bananas are cooked down. How do I enhance the flavour of this dish? It's lovely, it's sweet, it tastes banana, it tastes coconutty. What I'm going to add into this is a pinch of salt. And that's going to really, really, really improve this dish. What you see in a lot of Asian desserts, what you see in a lot of Western desserts actually, is this balance of sweet and sour. You know, you got your lemon meringue pie, lemon curd, all of these kind of things that have this sweet and sour kind of look to them. Citrus is used very commonly in a lot of Western desserts. You almost never see sourness in Asian desserts. Most Asian desserts are this mixture of savoury and sweet, because sourness is so common in savoury foods, you don't tend to see so much of it in sweet foods. So when I was growing up and we had a slightly sour, say, pineapple, my grandma would put salt all over it, and then you would taste it and it would taste salty, and then as soon as the saltiness went away, it would be overwhelmingly sweet. You take this sour pineapple and it becomes sweet in your mouth, and that is biological. Again, we're talking a lot about people's tongues and the biology of your tongue today, so I apologise for that. But what happens with all these little receptors that open and close and attach to your sodium chloride and your glucose and your glutamate or whatever, is they interact with each other. So the way that the umami works is the glutamate hits that receptor, and then it tells all the other receptors, hey, it's a party over here. Everything tastes sweeter, tastes more salty, tastes less bitter, tastes less sour, and so everything tastes better when you've got that glutamate hitting there. When you have salt hit a salt receptor, what that says in your brain is, hey, make something taste more sweet, make it taste less sour. That's actually what it says. Of course it says taste salty as well, but it's also telling you to appreciate sweetness more.
And home. Wow, what a day. So just to put that in perspective, what happened, Masterchef Australia, if you Google it, there's tons of stuff on it, hugely popular show here in Australia. And the second guy that you saw in the video was Adam Lau. He was one of the winners of Masterchef many years ago, and he then went on to produce his own television show. And you can Google him as well. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're in Australia, I guarantee you know who those people are. See you later, guys.